Genshin Impact 6.2 is shaping up to be one of the most transformative updates we've seen in a long time. Not because of a new region or a shiny 5-star banner, though we're getting plenty of that, but because HoYoverse is finally doing something we've all been hoping for. The early cast, the characters that built the foundation of this game, are finally getting the love, attention, and modernization they deserve. Yes, we're talking about Venti, Klee, Mona, and Albedo. 4 of Mondstadt's most iconic faces are being completely reworked under a new system called Arcane Rite and Maestria Arcana. Now, I know rework is a word that can make players nervous. But this isn't your typical stat adjustment or cooldown tweak. This is a fundamental overhaul, a mechanical reimagining of how these characters play, how they scale, and even how they connect to Genshin's ever-expanding lore. And the best part? It all ties back to something fascinating. The Hexenzle, the secret society of witches that's been lurking in the background of Genshin's story for ages. For the first time, this mysterious coven is stepping into gameplay relevance, giving our Mondstadt OGs new powers that reflect both lore and modern design philosophy. Let's dive into each of these changes and why they might completely reshape the way we play these beloved characters. Let's start with Venti, the Anemo Archon himself, the original crowd control king. The bard who once turned domains into mini-tornado theme parks. In the early days, Venti was unmatched. One burst and everything went flying. But as the years went on, his strength, kinda got lost in the shuffle. New enemies became heavier, bosses couldn't be lifted, and his vacuuming power, while still iconic, didn't quite carry the same weight in higher-level content. But now, the winds are changing again. Under the Arcane Rite system, when Venti activates his burst, something incredible happens. His normal attacks transform into piercing gale arrows, slicing through enemies with razor-sharp Anemo currents. Each arrow not only deals increased damage, but also extends the duration of his burst. That means as long as you keep firing, you can keep that swirling vortex alive longer than ever before. It's fast, flashy, and it turns Venti into something we've never really seen before, an Anemo damage carry. His constellations are being revamped too, enhancing both his damage and his ability to maintain crowd control. Suddenly, the carefree bard feels like a proper battlefield conductor again, controlling the rhythm of every fight with pure style. If you ever missed the days when Venti ruled the abyss, this rework might just bring that era back, with a modern twist. Now let's move to Klee, our Spark Knight. Cute, chaotic, and, if we're being honest, a little hard to handle. Her explosions are adorable, but her kit, not always the easiest to love. Between her stamina-hungry charged attacks and clunky animation cancelling, she's been a challenge to use effectively outside of dedicated Pyro setups. Well, that's changing. Klee's rework focuses on fluidity and fun. She can now store multiple charged attacks and unleash them at will, with no stamina cost. That's right. She's finally free from the limitations of her own energy bar. Her normal attack combos have been smoothed out too. They no longer reset during her burst, allowing you to chain her attacks seamlessly into explosions. This means her gameplay feels much more natural, fast-paced, and satisfying. Her constellations are also getting modernized. Instead of raw stat increases, they're designed to enhance her explosive potential and give her genuine team utility, offering buffs or pyro synergy that helps her teammates as well as herself. So, rather than being the cute mascot of Mondstadt's chaos, Klee is finally stepping up as a true pyro powerhouse, one that feels modern, intuitive, and incredibly fun to play. You can already imagine the new meta memes. Klee mains, your redemption arc has arrived. Next, Mona, our mysterious astrologist. She's always been a fascinating case. Her burst and Omen debuff could enable huge vaporize or melt combos, but her kit felt limited. You'd press her skill, watch her disappear, maybe do a big damage snapshot, and then wait for her cooldowns again. But the new Maestria Arcana system gives Mona something she's desperately needed: sustainability. She's now designed as a reaction-based buffer and semi-carry. Every time your teammates trigger certain elemental reactions like vaporize or electrocharged, Mona gains stacks that increase her reaction damage bonus. It's like her astrology powers are literally feeding off your team's synergy. Even better, her attacks now extend the duration of her Omen debuff, one of her biggest weaknesses before. That means your reaction windows stay open longer, and her burst becomes a real core mechanic rather than a one-shot trick. Her constellations have been refined too, focusing on team synergy and hydro support. Mona is evolving into a modern hydro enabler, bridging the gap between a buffer and a damage dealer, something she should have been all along. This rework is a dream come true for players who've been sitting on a C2 Mona wondering if she'd ever shine again. And finally we have Albedo, Mondstadt's quiet genius, the alchemist who could create life, and somehow became one of the most misunderstood characters in the meta. Albedo's original design was clever but flawed. He scaled with defense, which was unique, but his scaling felt disconnected from most team setups. Unless you built very specific comps, he was more background decoration than centerpiece. That changes now. His new rework keeps his defense scaling identity, but massively improves how it impacts the team. He now creates crystal fins, special constructs that amplify his skill damage and provide team-wide bonuses based on his def stat. This means the more you invest in his defense, the more everyone benefits. It's the perfect balance between lore and gameplay, Albedo using his intellect and stability to support his allies. And his constellations. They finally make him shine. Instead of minor stat bumps, they expand his mechanics, creating more fins, boosting their effects, and giving him the kind of scaling that makes him relevant in modern reaction comps. In short, Albedo is evolving from niche geo support to universal enabler, fitting comfortably into a variety of team archetypes. When you put all of this together, it's easy to see that HoYoverse isn't just tuning numbers here. They're rewriting the design philosophy behind Genshin's older characters. This Arcane Rite and Maestria Arcana system represents a new era, one where old characters can evolve naturally through lore-connected systems rather than just sequel versions or stat buffs. It's like watching the game's earliest heroes catch up to the future. And there's something poetic about that, isn't there? The characters who first guided us through Mondstadt are now rediscovering their strength through the same magical forces shaping Teyvat's future. And while all of this should be taken like a puff of dandelions in the wind, light, fun, and not set in stone, the potential here is enormous. We're seeing HoYoverse experiment with a more sustainable form of balance, where old favorites can be revitalized instead of replaced. Imagine what this could mean for the future. A living, evolving roster that stays relevant for years to come. It's not just about nostalgia, it's about continuity. So what do you think? Are you ready to see Venti take flight again? Klee's bombs fly smoother than ever. Mona finally fulfill her destiny as a hydro star. And Albedo step forward as the true support genius of Mondstadt? Tell me in the comments which rework you're most excited for. Or maybe which character you hope gets this treatment next. And of course, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Genshin's evolving world, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your fellow travelers, and subscribe for more updates, lore analyses, and gameplay breakdowns. Until next time, may your pulls be lucky, your primo gems plentiful, and your teams as radiant as the Hexenzle's arcane light.